Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for this February. I almost said December. February 19th, 2025. Of course, my name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your co-hosts here today. And it's been quite a week. We've got a lot of news to talk about, a lot of movies that I specifically have watched this week. But all that in due time. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these. Comments here. Our good friend Nadia. Yeet. That is good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump right into the stories because we got a lot to talk about this week. So, First, Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski and producer Jerry Bruckheimer are teaming up again for a new film. This one being a UFO conspiracy movie. Hopefully something kind of along the lines of Close Encounters of the Third Kind or something like that. But still no idea yet on what is going to be the case. But, you know.
Hey, haven't seen an alien UFO movie for a while. So cool to see what direction they go in.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully it's going to be good.
Yeah, hopefully. But next up, Robert Pattinson has seen the story for Batman Part 2 and is excited to get started. And we are excited for it to get started as well.
Yeah, hopefully it's another grounded, kind of realistic type film like the first one was. Hopefully it's got a good villain because Riddler is going to be hard to top. I think Riddler is absolutely fantastic. Next up, some pretty big news for the box office. China's animated film Ne Zha 2 has beat Inside Out 2 to be the highest grossing animated film ever as it nears close to $2 billion at the box office.
That's crazy because unfortunately I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, it did release limited in theaters this last weekend here in the U.S. I didn't see it on our coming soon stuff, so that's why I didn't talk about it. But I believe it has something to do with. I do not want to get this wrong. So give me 1 second here to kind of talk about what it is. Ne Zha 2. Let's see here. So it looks like it's based on Chinese myth and legend. So, I mean, obviously, you've got a very large country with a lot of viewers. It's going to do very well, especially if it's kind of on traditional legends. So that's
good for them.
Cool. Yeah, good for. I'm always happy to see a film be successful, even if I don't like it or whatever, or haven't seen it. But still cool that it's almost near $2 billion. That's huge for animation.
That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But next up, Dune Messiah's filming start date is in the summer and it has already had pre-production already underway. Just cool. We'll see.
I'm hoping they're not rushing it because of how well this did. And I don't, obviously there is franchise material here, but don't rush it. Take your time. That's all I ask for. Next up, Steven Spielberg's next movie has been delayed from May 2026 to June 2026, which is supposedly his UFO movie coming out. And the Daniels, the directors behind Everything Everywhere All at Once, their next film has been removed from Universal's release calendar right now. No particular reason. It just might have an indefinite delay or something is holding it up or shooting hasn't even started yet or whatever it could be. So, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that the date that it was supposed to come out is the date that the Spielberg movie is now coming out on.
So, and maybe just moving it back a bit so they can have the big Spielberg movie to be present pretty much. And hopefully I don't want to see studios get rid of movies, especially if they're like almost done or almost made, because you never know what could be a hit and what cannot be. So
yeah, what about Coyote versus Acme? We deserve that movie, and yet it will never come out.
Exactly. But next up, rumors are growing that Johnny Depp will return in Pirates franchise for the 6th film. I think he should be a cameo.
Interesting.
I'm not saying he's like a bad character or anything like that, but he's getting a little bit older. And if they do like, what if they did like a kid of his that he doesn't know of? That would be kind of funny to do because he's Jack Sparrow. He doesn't know what he does half the time. And Something like along those lines would be cool, but I don't want him to be like the main focal point of the story.
I mean, I think he could be like a mentor figure.
Yeah,
I think that could be good. I mean, I don't know what the story plans are. These are just rumors, though. This is nothing confirmed yet, so nothing really to kind of wet our whistles off of yet. Next up, the Brutalist director Brady Corbett has said on a podcast recently that he has made zero money from the Oscar-nominated movie in the last 6 months, because the way this works is these films premiere and then they are doing rigorous amounts of marketing events and promotion stuff. So they've been out promoting the film for 6 months, which they aren't paid for. They're not paid to go out and promote these movies. The studio, it's a whole system, but they're not working, so they're not making any money. And he said that he has spoken to many filmmakers that have films that are nominated this year that cannot pay their rent because they're not making any money because all they're doing is promotional stuff. So
yeah,
go see the movies. Help them get some groceries.
Yeah, exactly. On a happier note, if you like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is available on Paramount Plus today. So I'll definitely try to be watching it when I have time after I watch a big movie that's coming up. And so I can't wait to see it like the first two. So can't wait to see the next one.
There you go. Next up, Mickey 17 has officially premiered, and the reviews are glowing, with a lot of people calling it a new Bong Joon-ho masterpiece. I am so beyond excited for this movie, because Parasite is a movie that we both love and adore, and cannot wait to see this movie. Apparently, it is just perfect for the time we live in, so that's all I could ask for.
I mean, it just looks so interesting and so out of this world, no pun intended, but it looks really good. But next up, Pixar's next film, Elio, has been delayed a week from June 13th to June 20th. Okay. I mean, it's just a week.
It's either to avoid competition with something else or to start a competition with another film. So there's a lot of different reasons they move movies.
Oh, Disney likes starting competition. We know that.
Yep. And I mean, they usually win that competition. So
yep.
Makes sense. Next up, the sequel to Godzilla -1 is currently being written, and it will have a bigger budget, according to the director of the original and the sequel, Takashi Yamazaki. Good. Give this movie a big sequel, bigger budget, or bigger sequel, and a bigger budget, and make it just as good as the first one. Take your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's all that matters.
Especially if you have a bigger budget, you try to make it feel like a bigger budget as well, because you saw what we did that they gave us with a smaller budget. Like, hopefully they don't go too overboard though. That's the one thing that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, keep it grounded. I wouldn't necessarily throw in another monster or anything. Potentially, I mean, if you're going to do it, you have to do it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, something I didn't think would happen. Creed 4 is confirmed to happen, but it has no release date yet. Okay. I mean, Creed 1 was good. I don't remember seeing Creed 2 or anything like that, or Creed 3. But if people are going to go see it if they like it, so...
Yeah, this comes to us. Michael B. Jordan is currently doing a little bit of promotion for the upcoming Sinners film, and was asked about a potential Creed 4. And in that has said that they want to do a Creed 4. It is still on the table, but they're taking their time with it. So, which again, it's always good to hear. Alrighty, next up, M. Night Shyamalan's next movie is called, apparently, Remain, and will be a supernatural romantic thriller with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm kind of here for it.
Interesting genre.
The genre is what's interesting me. So I'm interested to see. It is based off of a narrative treatment written by Nicholas Sparks, which is the same guy who wrote some other romance type stuff. So kind of interested. It sounds a little bit different for Mr. Shyamalan. So
yeah,
kind of here for it.
We'll see if he can nail it. Next up, Black Panther 3 will not release before the next Avengers. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
Well, it was leaked by Denzel Washington, who is most likely going to be part of the film. But we didn't know when it was coming out. It will not be out before the next Avengers movie. So it sounds like it will be the next part of the next saga, the mutant saga.
Okay. So, well, they don't need to rush any MCU movies right now. So
Yeah, take your time, especially after Brave New World,
which you'll get to.
We'll get to it, but take your time. Take your time. Last one up here. Wicked will be available on Peacock exclusively streaming on March 21st. So if any of you haven't seen the movie in theaters and you want to, or you haven't rented it or purchased it digitally already, you'll be able to stream it on Peacock starting March 21st. So
very cool.
Yeah, one of the better movies of last year.
You
can finally check it out.
Yep, exactly.
But that is it for the stories this week. So we'll go ahead and dive into some of these comments here. Any plans for Naked Gun 4 1/4, The Law of Toughness? There is no name official for the new Naked Gun movie, but we haven't heard anything about it, if it's been filming or anything. CBS All Access hasn't gotten anything since Sonic 3's release from Kissing Paramount. So, Yep, nothing has really got anything. That's New World Order, not Brave New World. No, that is actually factually incorrect. Here is the poster. It is Brave New World. Stop calling it by the wrong name. It is called Brave New World. That is verifiable on every single website possible. Anyhow, moving right along, let's go ahead and talk about the trailers that we got this week.
Trailers, we got a
few.
couple good ones. I see. Freaky Tales looks very interesting. We're like they're having like a bunch of guys are having. Okay, that was going to sound weird, so I'm going to rephrase that sentence. But it just feels like everybody that was on this movie was having a lot of fun doing it, especially in the trailers. You have some really big actors as well, like Pascal is in this, and I forget the other ones, but I noticed.
I know Tom Hanks is supposed to be in it.
Yeah, and then Bring Her Back, which Nadia, I know you're watching right now. You should really take a look at this trailer to see what you think about it.
It looks properly creepy. And from the same directors that had talked to me, one of the horror breakout successes of the last couple of years. So really excited for them to do another movie. You already mentioned Freaky Tales. I think Freaky Tales looks like it's going to be pretty good. Very different as well, which I'm definitely here for. The surprising one for me, though, and in a film that I don't know if it's going to be a good film, but it looks gorgeous, is The Colorful Stage, the movie, A Miku Who Can't Sing, which is a Hatsune Miku anime film.
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't care about Hatsune Miku at all. I don't like the music, whatever. But the movie looks gorgeously animated. So I'm kind of on board for that. So, and it's a movie, so I'll probably check it out at some point anyway. But I don't know. I think it looks gorgeous. The Accountant 2, I didn't see the first one, but the second one has a pretty decent trailer with John Bernthal.
Exactly.
So.
Yep. That's all right. That title name is really long though for the I don't know how to say her name. The anime movie. That's
Hatsune Miku.
The Colorful Stage. Yeah, The Colorful Stage. The movie.
Dang, you pulled up that quest poster quick. Yeah, I had it ready to go. Had to prove a point. Wait, Cheech and Chong are back? Yes, they are. Apparently, they have a new movie coming out. I guess they do need to release the older ones. What trailer did we see? Kevin said, "Bring Her Back."
Yeah, Bring Her Back.
Yeah. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and get into the box office from last week, Kevin.
Yeah, so the box office, MCU on top, no surprise there, I don't think, with Captain America Brave New World with 88.8 million. Coming in at number 2, Paddington in Peru with 12.8 million. Number 3, really cool to see this one up here, Heart Eyes with 9.9 million, which barely beat out Dogman with 9.8 million. And then number 5 with Neja 2 with 7.2 million, which
I may be mispronouncing that, by the way. I don't know.
Could be totally wrong, but really cool to see basically one unknown animation on there that again we didn't even know that came out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's not surprising that Brave New World's on here. I'm a little surprised that it's not a triple digit number.
See, I'm not surprised it's not a triple digit.
I think I was expecting around 100 million, but I think that 88. I mean, there was a lot of people at the theater this weekend, so I don't know, but that's also the American box office numbers. That's not the international box office numbers, so it may have done actually more than that this weekend. Paddington, Peru, coming in the second place with 12 million. My boy Paddington. Kind of surprised to see Hard Eyes linger in with 9.9 and hold its spot, but there's been a lot of positive word of mouth around the movie, so it's been driving a lot of people to the theater. And I think having a horror movie around this time of year is good for couples and things like that. So,
Yeah, we'll get to it.
You got to have different kinds of movies. But next up, we have the movies that are coming out this weekend, and oh boy, am I excited for one of them, which is The Monkey. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. Super excited for this. This comes to us from the director Osgood Perkins, who did Longlegs last year. One of our, both of us, one of our favorite movies last year. Yeah. And this looks like more of a horror comedy, which I am totally all here for. Up after that is Cleaner. Criminal activists hijack a gala, taking 300 hostages. One extremist plans mass murder as a message to the world, but an ex-soldier turned window cleaner now works to rescue the hostages. This is coming to us from director Martin Campbell. Most notably gave us Casino Royale and GoldenEye, two James Bond films. And a lot of people said this is a film a lot like Die Hard or Carry On style. But this looks like one of the bigger releases starring Daisy Ridley, who was Rey in the sequel trilogy. So kind of excited to see her doing something like this, and hopefully she can prove her mettle as an action star.
That's crazy pull out of the straw hat there.
Huh?
Because we haven't seen her in a bunch of movies.
She's been in a couple different things, but just nothing high profile.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean to say. Sorry.
Up after that is The Unbreakable Boy, which, I mean, if you've gone to the theaters recently, you've just seen this trailer freaking everywhere. A young boy with both a rare brittle bone disease and autism. But what makes him truly unique is his joyous, funny, life-affirming worldview that transforms and unites everyone around him. It's too bad that Zachary Levi's in this movie. So, because he's just can't stand him anymore. Anyhow, up last is Invasion. This is a film from, I believe, Denmark. When neighboring country Veragua suddenly attacks Curacao and Aruba, the Dutch government is taken completely by surprise. The conflict escalates rapidly. 3 young Dutch Corps recruits must figure out what is the right thing to do. This looks like a action movie set around a potential real-world event. I am not familiar with the events in the film, so it could be, but it is releasing in the United States. So if you want to check it out, go seek it out. And that is it for the stuff coming out this weekend. Let's see here. All righty. So let's go ahead and move into our favorite part, Kevin, which is talking about the movies we watched.
I already did the math.
Oh.
Yeah. You talk about 3 movies, I talk about 1 movie.
Oh, so we alternate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do that because I got a lot to get through, and I'm going to keep it relatively short as much as I can. So up first is Top Hat from 1935. This is a Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musical comedy, and I absolutely loved this movie. It is hilarious. Also super far ahead of its time with how much it makes fun of men, which is really funny. I absolutely adored the entire film. My roommate's girlfriend selected this as our movie night film, and I loved it. It was fantastic. It's super funny. It's got this magical energy to it that only old golden age Hollywood films have. And I think the closest thing I can really relate to you, Kevin, would be Singing in the Rain, where it has that magical kind of feel to it. It's really, really fun. And if you've never seen it before or even heard about it, I would highly recommend it. It was truly fantastic. After that, I went back and watched a nostalgic film from my youth that I'm sure a couple of you have probably seen before, which is Flubber with Robin Williams. I have a soft spot for this film, no matter how flawed it is. This is one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. But even then, I know it's a terrible movie. It's not a good movie. I think Robin Williams is good here. I know a lot of people don't like him in this movie, but I think he's fine. He's a little bit different, a different kind of character here. And there's because he has like this inventor shtick. There's a lot of whimsy around the things that he creates, and there's like a childlike wonder.
Garrett,
which
I'm an inventor. That's as soon as that popped in my head when you said that.
Immediately think of Transformers 4. However, the positives end there. It's much more concerned about showing like funny scenes with the flubber doing things as opposed to like having a plot. The story is really paper thin. The villains are comically bad, even though I know they're supposed to be. But like it's just really lazy. Like it just feels like a lazy film to cash in on Robin Williams doing weird shit. But again, I have a soft spot for this film since it's one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid, and also I love Weebo. Weebo, I always have. I always will love Weebo. I want a Weebo, and I know you do too. Weebo is fantastic. She's the little yellow floating robot.
I've never seen Flubber.
You just nodded when I said it. Okay, whatever. Well,
I know of Flubber. I've never seen.
Now I gotta find a picture of Weebo.
I think I know who Weebo is.
Weebo's the best. She is. Let me see here. Is this one? Where's this overlay thing? Oh, I can't add it because damn it, it's freaking. Can I get like a JPEG? No. Why are they all WebP? Oh, that's really bugging me. Anyhow, she's this little floating yellow robot with a nice little voice. I love her. She's fantastic. Anyhow, other than that, I watched John Williams in Tokyo, which is basically just a concert film of John Williams' music, him conducting his own music at one of the grand orchestra halls in Tokyo. He's not there the whole time. He's only doing about half the time. Another is just his friend kind of doing some stuff in the beginning. But it's just an orchestral experience. If you've never seen one before, it's a cool thing to see. But like I've been to several over the course of my life, and I've been in a couple. So like it's just that. It's nothing special. It's not like a documentary. It's just a videotaping of the performance. But it's John Williams. So, fuck it. I love it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I think it's my turn, right? Yeah.
Yep.
You did it. Yeah. Okay. Next up for me is Flow. This was getting a lot of award praises, and it came out last week on Max, so I decided to check it out. And I can see what people are talking about how beautiful the animation style is, but for me, it looked like a PS3 animation style, and I couldn't get that out of my head. Not saying that it doesn't look good or anything like that. Just that's what I always fell back onto, and I loved how it dealt with, what is it called? Like ups and downs of being with different animals, and I like how they use animals and not people in this situation, because you can show a lot of variety in animals than you can with people. And having no dialogue in this movie, I was never lost in this movie, which I thought was fantastic as well for me. So I give it an 87 out of 100. I can see where all the praise is going, but I think maybe it was a little bit overhyped for me.
I think a lot of the phrase comes from the fact that it is dialogueless from another country, and you can show this to anyone in any country without needing to change it, which is, which I think is really admirable. Also, it's made using a free program, so they pretty much were just making profit off this movie. Alrighty, back to the ones that I was watching. I finally watched it, Kevin.
What'd you watch?
House from 1977, the one with the orange cat on it that you see everywhere with like film nerds. This is one of the craziest drug trips of a movie I have ever seen. It is not a horror movie. It just has horror elements in it. It's more of like a fantasy, like a realization of childhood fears and wonder. And an artist using whatever tools he can to kind of bring that to life. It's a really weird movie. It's bonkers. It's an insane movie. It's outrageously odd. But there's just something so fucking charming about this movie. As weird as it is, you just sit there with the biggest smile on your face. I mean, some people do not get it. Some people don't like it. That's totally fine. But like for me, I just sat there totally enjoying it. It felt like a grown-up Scooby-Doo type movie in Japan. And I thought that was hysterical. Also, there's a character in this movie called Kung Fu. And she's literally just a high school teenage girl that does Kung Fu and like kick stuff. She's the best character in the movie. All right. Now it's time, Kevin. Brave New World. Captain America Brave New World is aggressively mediocre. I went in with no expectations, as I do with pretty much every single movie I go into. And I can say that I wasn't let down. I just wasn't pleased either. It was like somewhere right in the middle. There are some positives. Harrison Ford is fantastic as Thunderbolt Ross. I think he's one of the best parts of the film. Anthony Mackie is also really good here and proves why he's a good takeover for Captain America after Steve Rogers. Carl Lumbly, who returns from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, also great in this movie as well. And I really like Denny Ramirez as well, the new Falcon. I think he's a lot of fun, and he and Mackie have really good chemistry. There's plenty of good moments in the movie and good scenes. The problem is the things that link the whole scenes together, the whole movie kind of falls apart, and it feels edited to death. It feels like a Frankenstein's monster of a movie because they were just over editing the hell out of this movie before it came out. They were cutting things out, or whatever. I don't know why. It feels like a movie like we mentioned. It ties up loose ends from movies that people don't necessarily care about. It's a sequel to Incredible Hulk, to The Eternals, and to Falcon and Winter Soldier. And it's kind of weird in that. I don't want to go into spoiler stuff, and I won't, because there's a lot to spoil in this movie. But I hope that Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four are going to be good. Because, I think I get one more, which is Bruce Almighty, which is one of those movies I feel like most people have seen at least once. I can argue, I feel like everyone has at least seen or heard of this movie. So it's weird that I haven't actually reviewed it yet. There's a few things that make it work. Jim Carrey and Morgan Freeman, great in this movie. Love them together. I don't believe in God, but if I do die and I see God and it's not Morgan Freeman, I'll be pissed. Because Morgan Freeman is that's headcanon God at this point. But what also works are the comedic moments, and that's mostly due again to Jim Carrey. What I don't like here is the bland and formulaic storyline between Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston, which I think she's one of the weakest parts of the movie. Like literally any actress could have been cast in her role, and it would not have made a difference. Also, it's just. The workplace drama stuff isn't that interesting there. It's mostly just funny because it's Jim Carrey being God, and that's where the fun is. Everything else around that is just kind of dull.
Okay.
But still a good movie. It's one of those movies you like. It's always one that you can recommend to people because people just enjoy it no matter what. So. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Kevin.
Next up for me is The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I hate that name, first of all, because that's way too long of a name for a movie. But this was a good start of a franchise that is the last movie in the franchise, which is weird. But really good acting from, I forget the actor's name and actresses who play Snow and Songbird. I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. I forget.
Rachel Zegler, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know her actor, the name of the character that she plays.
Oh, I see.
I know President Snow, but I don't remember Ziegler's name. But anyways, really good, showing us not the first Hunger Games. This is the first Hunger Games that is televised to all of the I don't want to say nations. It's like dictators. No, it's the country pretty much, and it was really cool to see how President Snow actually becomes President Snow, because this is his younger years when he gets involved with the Hunger Games, and you realize why he becomes so maniacal and so bloodthirsty in the movies that come after this with Katniss. Oh, and there's some hints of like Katniss and stuff like that in this movie as well, which it's cool because you're like, I know what they're referencing there and stuff like that. So it was still really cool, really good movie, 80 out of 100, and good start to, if you want to watch and you've never seen any of the movies, start with this one and then go on from there.
Interesting. All right. Mm-hmm. I did move a movie in my order so we can talk about it back to back because, we're going to do that. But up next for me is a movie called Dinner for Schmucks. I'll be very quick on this one. It's a very weak film. It's inoffensive, but it's really weak. It's got a good message to it, but it's really just not that funny. It's got Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, and a whole slew of others. It's pretty forgettable. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Up next is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a movie that I just reviewed for the first time, but I've seen it several times. I own it. It's one of my favorite movies. I think this movie is wonderfully dark. I love this Willy Wonka. I love Gene Wilder, and I love the music. I love the set design. It is all fantastic. I love this movie. If there's anything I do want to critique with the movie, I think it takes way too long to get to the factory. I just do not care about Charlie's story in this movie.
You don't care about his family?
Not in this one. I think they do a better job with it in the Tim Burton one with Charlie's story, as opposed to this one. He's just like, and man, whoever like the guy they cast to play Charlie in this movie, he's such a blank slate. Which I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be the character you put yourself onto, but does he have to look like he's gonna cry all the goddamn time? I hate that. Anyhow, I love this movie, though. Pure Imagination is a song that I think of alongside Singing in the Rain and Hooray for Hollywood whenever I think of just the movies. And so, like, I love this movie for that. So, 89 out of 100 is what I give that. All right, and my last one here, before we go back to Kevin, is Paddington in Peru. Oh, this movie is a lot of fun. I love me a good adventure movie. It is the weakest of the three. I will be very clear in saying that right now. And I think that is due to the fact that it's missing the original director. It's missing Sally Hawkins, who played Mrs. Brown in the first two. And it just doesn't have the same visual style as the first two. The first two have a very pastel storybook fantasy style to them that I really love. And this one is kind of missing that, but it does take place in a jungle for most of its time. So, like, how are you going to make that look kind of pastel-y? You know, it's dark and green and whatever, right? But, like, that's really about it. It's kind of missing a little bit of the soul of what makes the first two better. But this one's still really good. The Emily Mortimer, who fills in for Sally Hawkins in this movie, does a really good job. The director does a commendable job of doing what he can with the movie after not directing a feature film ever, which is kind of nice. And the new cast members are some of the best parts. Olivia Colman plays a nun in this movie, and she's hysterical. When she's not singing, she has a song in the beginning of the movie that just does not make sense in the Paddington movie. I don't know why it was there. But Antonio Banderas plays a villain in this movie. He is weird, and it keeps in the tradition of the villains set by Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, which is a lot of fun. And the returning cast is all great. It's just missing a little bit of what made the other two special. Just a little bit of that soul missing, but it's still a great movie. I absolutely enjoyed it.
But my turn. The Blackening, which is I know you and Nadia have already seen this, and Nadia was pleasantly surprised about how much she liked this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised of how funny this movie was, and how it's so bonkers, and it's just so funny. I mean, the kills are fantastic in this movie. Little twists and plot twists and everything like that in this movie as well for us. But you're there for the comedic relief of all of the black friends and everything like that, making all of the black jokes, and it was just so fun to see the game being absolutely the most racist game in the world. It makes it even better because they can just say whatever they want to it without even like batting an eye, which was so fantastic to see. I gave it a 91 out of 100, and I wish I would have seen this a little bit sooner, because I think this is going to be a great Halloween movie.
It would have been one to see. It would have been good to see in theaters with a group of people too. So.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. So next up for me is the movie that Kevin watched as part of the wheel spin, but I hadn't yet, which was King Kong versus Godzilla, and this is the American version from 1963 because it's the one that I own. It's a shame I have the American one because this one sucks. It's not good. It's not a good movie because they keep cutting to some stupid news anchor who is giving you stupid information. You don't need him there. Just play the original movie. There's just way too many moments of the film getting sidetracked for no reason, and it takes way too long for really anything to get started. There's the part with the submarine in the beginning, but then after that there's like a whole 30-40 minutes of just nothing, right? It's kind of annoying. Also, it's really, on one hand, it's refreshing that America was not the only country that did blackface for movies. They had a bunch of Japanese actors in blackface, and it looks real bad. That was horrible decision. But there are two reasons why I do like this movie, and I think it is a guilty pleasure for me. Number one is, even though it's bad, the craftsmanship and the talent behind the miniatures and the effects is fantastic. And I absolutely love it. As a kind of amateur miniature painter myself, I love watching that. Number two, I love the final fight. It is so derpy, and it's just two people in costumes, but it is great. There's literally a part where the King Kong just throws a rock at Godzilla, and Godzilla's like, ow, what the hell? And then another rock just comes flying. It's great. While the newer films are better, like better fights and better story, not by much, but they're still better. This movie is just like, I don't know, I kind of got a soft spot for it.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's real bad up until it gets fun.
But you know it's going to be like just two people in a costume, and you're like, okay, let's see how bad it is.
But until you get to that, it's boring as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Up after that, I got a little bit of a true crime documentary kick. So I watched a true crime documentary called Into the Deep, the submarine murder case. This is based on the actual, well, all this is true crime, obviously. The submarine guy in Denmark who was making stuff, who had a reporter come on board his submarine, and then the submarine ended up sinking, and he arrived back on shore, but she didn't, and it ended up finding out that he killed her on the submarine and tried to cover up everything. This documentary is actually legitimately interesting because there was a film crew that was originally filming a documentary about him and his company trying to build a rocket and submarines. He's like an inventor. So they were filming a documentary about him and his team. And then this happens as they're filming it. And so it transitions into a documentary about this. And they go back and you're watching all the footage they recorded. And this guy is a fucking psychopath. And you see it come out in the interviews they do with him. Like, he's talking about murder, like, and his thing is just like joking, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, as a businessman, I have to be able to like not reveal secrets. It's like if I went on trial for murder. You think I'm going to tell everyone what happened? No, I'm going to lie about it. And it's like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, it's really chilling to see like him so much. I would have liked to have seen more of her and her family and their reactions to everything, but I think the circumstances of why this was filmed would prohibit that, and it's kind of it's a little murky there, but it's a pretty good true crime doc. So would highly recommend it if you have some time. Next up was American Murder, The Family Next Door. This is regarding the Shannon Watts case from like 2019, I believe. It's an engaging documentary because it's all told through archive footage and police cams and social media posts. There's no interviews whatsoever. There's no narration. It's all archive footage, which is really cool. I don't think it's anything super out of the normal. And I don't know how to feel after it because, spoiler alert, the husband did it. Gee, what a original story that is. But like, he did a terrible thing. He killed his wife and 2 children, and his wife was pregnant. That's horrible. Yeah. But through the entire movie, they do not make the wife look like a good person either. She's the most like manipulative bitch I've ever seen. And so like, I don't know how to feel after this. Like, I feel sad because it's terrible what happened to him. But like, she's a bitch. I don't know. I mean, it's true crime fans are gonna love it, but like if you're looking for a documentary to watch and you don't typically watch these kinds of things, watch the submarine one instead. It's far more fascinating. Okay. Alrighty, Kevin. Now
we're collective on this. I know you.
We went and saw this together.
Yes.
We went and saw this movie with Nadia, who is in the chat. We went and saw the film Hard Eyes.
Yes.
Which was on the box office list this week. Kevin gave it
an 87 out of 100.
And I gave it a 15 out of 100. So let's go ahead and kind of share our opinions on this real quick. Let's keep it quick because we got we still got wheel spin and stuff to do. I think this is just one of the worst written movies I've seen in a long time.
Yes. Keep going. I'll keep saying yes until you get to something.
The dialogue is terrible.
Yes.
The characters are terrible. There's no logical setup for anything.
True.
And it doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy or a horror movie. Which I like. There is a place you can mix those two, like Shaun of the Dead, things like that, or The Monkey coming out.
The Blackening.
This wasn't billed as a horror comedy, though. This was like a slasher movie in all the trailers, and then it's tonally, it feels way off. Yeah. The only positive thing I can say is that the killer is really well designed. I like the mask and I like the way it looks. But then there's a reveal that happens at the end that undermines everything, and it made it into a joke. And I just do not like that. And I'm just gonna say it. Like, half the kills were interesting in this movie, but good kills don't make a good movie. So that's just how it works with me. But how do you feel, Kevin?
I feel like this is just I knew it was going to be a slasher movie, but going into horror movies, I feel like I have to lower my expectations a lot. Because I know the dialogue is not going to be the greatest in the world. I know the characters, we're not going to probably give two shits about them. And if we do, they did their job, that we give shits about them. You're there for me. I'm there for the kills, and I'm there for the way the killer interacts with the other characters. And knowing that now is... This movie's fantastic because of how Hard Ice sees other people. Yes, the reveal is kind of iffy, and
what do you mean how Hard Ice sees other people?
Like killing couples is a different concept of any other.
Sure, and it's interesting until they reveal what the killer is.
Yes.
And then it doesn't make sense. It's stupid. I'm sorry, Kevin. It's stupid.
But I personally really enjoyed it, and I came out of it thinking it as a comedy horror movie that was trying to be way too serious.
I can see that, but I see that as a negative.
But I see it as a positive because I'm like, okay, that was really funny, even though it's not supposed to be funny. It was just, that's what I got out of it. I was like, man, that was a good time.
Kevin was more laughing at me, cringing in my seat than I think he was during the movie.
Oh, that was hilarious.
But we also want to talk about one thing real quick. The best part of the movie.
Oh, you can talk about this. This is your favorite part.
Let's fucking go. Best part of this movie. We had 4 13-year-old kids come in. And they walk into the theater and they walk up to the row right in front of us. And they ask us, guys, we're not old enough to be in this movie. Can you guys be our parents if they ask? We didn't even say anything. We were just laughing at them. And then they went and sat down a row down or whatever. And then not even 5 minutes later, the manager came in and kicked them out.
Yeah.
And then we just applauded them as they walked out. It was
Garrett's highlight right there.
The movie manager I don't want to say actually doing his job because that's an insult to the manager. He's been very polite every time I've talked to him, but actually kicking people out when they don't deserve to be there. You earn some points from me.
Yeah.
But that's it for all the movies we watched outside the wheel spin. We'll get to the wheel spin stuff in a second, but we have 17 comments to get through here real quick, Kevin. So let's go ahead and see here. Just watched the trailer, Kevin. It looks interesting. Not really a fan of how A24's art style works, but might be a good who knows.
Yeah, who knows? Exactly.
Did you Talk to Me, Nadia?
I think she enjoyed it.
Yeah, because it's the same studio and same directors. So, 87 for Flow. You were telling me you didn't like it.
No, I didn't like the animation style, but it was a good movie.
I think it just didn't live up to the hype that you had been set for it.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Sure. House has been on my watch list forever. I keep forgetting it exists. You're not going to like it. I'll tell you it right now. I mean, you should still watch it and give it a shot because it is a horror movie cult classic. But I can guarantee I don't think you're going to like it. So, just fair warning. Maybe you will. Maybe you will. Absolutely. But I feel like I know you enough to kind of say you probably won't like it. Maybe respects it enough to give it a decent score regardless of not liking it. Regarding Flow.
Yeah. I can see the beauty in the story, but it just, again, like we were saying, maybe that hype gave it a little bit too much hype, and I was expecting a little bit more.
Schnozberries.
Yes, schnozberries.
The 2005 version is better. Are you talking about
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Because that is just factually incorrect.
The one with Johnny Depp, the creepy one?
Yeah, that movie is legitimately one of the worst pieces of film I think I've ever seen. That movie's terrible. I mean, you can like it if you want. I'm not judging your opinion, but come on, that movie's real bad. Blackening is a little bad for the real villain, as you can see his reasons.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He actually gives reasons why it happens, but it's so good. I don't want to spoil anything because it's that good of a movie. I like it.
This was produced by Universal in 1962. If you're referring to King Kong versus Godzilla, there is a 1962 version. It's the Japanese one, which is not the one that I watched. I watched the 1963 American one that was produced by Universal. Yeah. The Wasp Family Murder was huge when it happened, maybe because it wasn't a common or seen more back then. I just never heard about it. The documentary was on Netflix, though, so that's why I checked it out. I'm not going to say she deserved it, because no one deserves to die, but man, it's just not that good. I'm a slut for slasher, so I was over this. Hard Eyes was a new yearly Valentine's Day watch for me. I mean, I can see why I can see it being a guilty pleasure. Like, I could potentially see it being one of those movies that's so bad that it's potentially guilty pleasure for me in the future. But I think, like, objectively watching it the first time, I just did not think it was good. I do agree, though, that the script wasn't good and the reveal was underwhelming. 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and get into the wheel spin movies, Kevin.
Yeah.
You can do your short first.
My short was Chip and Dale. This is the first time we get to see Chip and Dale in animated short from Disney. And it was really fun. Donald steals their tree with all their acorns because it's hibernation time, and they try to get it back. Again, that's the premise of this short, and it's really funny, but I do like to see the difference of Chip and Dale now from Chip and Dale then, because one of them wasn't all there, I'll just say that. And it's funny how they kind of reversed it, and now they're both like the same, if that makes any sense at all. Probably it doesn't. But I give it an 82 out of 100. Still love the animation from Disney back in this day.
Alrighty. My short this week was Popeye the Sailor meets Alibaba's 40 Thieves from 1937. And I gotta be, real honest here. I think it's pretty mediocre of a short. I think it's until Popeye gets to Alibaba's cave, where it becomes way better and the animation has a huge step up. However, the biggest problem with this, there's a lot of dialogue in this that is impossible to understand. I don't know if it's because the quality of microphones back then or the people doing the voices, but no one is understandable. And it's really rough. And it just made it not fun to watch. Also, I'm starting to think that Popeye is a complete fabrication and a conspiracy started by Big Spinach. So,
I mean, could be.
If I get another Popeye short, I'll continue that conspiracy theory.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Oh, it looks like a nice zesty one here, Kevin.
It is zesty. But if I was 10 years old and saw this movie, I think I probably would have liked it. So give it that. Aliens in the Attic. And yeah, they were aliens in the attic. I can confirm that they are in this movie in the attic. And this is, again, it's a kid's movie. There's going to be horrible dialogue. The kid characters are absolutely atrocious in this movie. The animation isn't the best, but isn't the worst at the same time for a 2009 movie. But the story is so predictable. I knew what was going to happen, and I knew how it was going to happen, and why they wanted to come to this place, and such and such. And it was just... I was sitting there watching it. Did I have a good time? Yeah, sometimes I did have a good time. Like, it was just watching, I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. But I was watching it from eyes when I was a little kid. I've been like, I would have laughed so hard at that moment right there. And so that's why I gave it a 23 out of 100. I knew my younger self would have absolutely adored this movie and probably would be a guilty pleasure for me if I watched it when I was younger.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then on to me. My movie this week was All Dogs Go to Heaven from 1989, and I was pretty divided on this one, if I can say so. I think it's okay, but the biggest problem is I mostly can't tell who this movie is for. It has a tonal issue and a story issue, in that it is clearly a movie for families, maybe ones with young kids or whatever. And I was telling Kevin about this earlier. There is a place to have a movie that is about the loss of a pet or loved one, and to make it approachable for kids. I think those movies should exist to help kids kind of understand things. Movies are a great way for those feelings to be explored, and all that. It's doing about it the wrong way by making your character a gambling hall owner in the 1930s and just making him a bad person. Also, while I absolutely love the sequences where he's like kind of tortured with nightmares of going to hell, why is that a kids movie?
It's 1993. They can put whatever
1989. I don't know where you got 93 from.
What?
But I think the cast is fine in this movie. I think Burt Reynolds is a good fit for the main character. He fits the kind of character they're going for. Dom DeLuise is a great sidekick. The villain is terrible, the voice actor, because you cannot understand a word he's saying in this really gravity voice, and it's really annoying. The child actress that plays Anne Marie, she gives a fine performance. However, I hesitate to say anything negative about it, given what happened to her. Because I don't know if you know this, Kevin. She was the same actress. She was in another Don Bluth project. I can't remember her name right now. But her and her mother were brutally murdered by her father.
Wait, is this Ducky?
Yes, it was the actress who played Ducky.
Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. That's the other Don Bluth one. I like this. There's a song at the end of this movie that is a tribute to her, and it is a gorgeous song, and I really like that song. It might actually go into my best movie music of all time playlist, because it's actually a very touching song. But my biggest complaint with this movie is the animation. I do not like Don Bluth's style. I think it looks cheap. I think it looks bad. The colors are just muted and terrible. The character designs are awful. I just can't stand Bluth's style. It's my big kind of faux pas with animation. I just do not like the way his movies look. The story of this movie, though, is the best part. It's just suffering from the tonal issues, but it is still a decent movie. There are way better family and children's movies that you should watch out there. Literally anything by Studio Ghibli comes to mind. But, if you want something a little bit different, you can go this route, especially if the kids are a little bit older, maybe like 9 to 13. They might get a little bit more out of it than someone who's younger than that. But that's it. Now we're done talking about movies.
When I looked at All Dogs Go to Heaven on Google, it says 1993, but on Tubi it says 1989.
Weird.
Yeah, weird.
Popeye was originally in a comic strip as a throwaway character. He did skyrocket to popularity, surpassing the original main characters later. You might be onto something with the spinach, though. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason we have spinach nowadays is because of Popeye, I think.
Okay, I don't think that far. Okay.
I mean, what's funny is I don't even mind spinach. I think spinach is totally fine. I know a lot of people don't like it, but
it has no taste.
Especially if you stir fry it with garlic and lemon or something, and you throw it into a ravioli with some good cheese. Then you got some good stuff. But I mean, even raw. There are sometimes as a kid, I would just take a leaf of spinach and just drag it through ranch.
Oh yeah.
I know I'm white. Everything ranch goes on everything. But it was just it was nice and delicious. For your argument, why hell in the kids movie? Remember, Watership Down exists. Yes, that is true. Watership Down does exist. I need to watch that movie. It's on Max. So, alrighty. Well, Kevin, you know what time it is.
It's the Wheel of Fate time.
It is the Wheel of Fate time. I'll go ahead and get it pulled up here. I don't know why it's not showing up.
Whoa.
Hold on. Technical difficulties here. It's still landing on things. That's kind of funny. I'm going to go ahead and just copy everything on the list just to make sure that it's all... just in case I'm going to refresh my window here. I mean, 1 second, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Oh, no, we're fine. Okay, good. All right. Okay, Motel Hell is the first one from Nadia.
And for Escape Room, this would be only you, because I have reviewed this one.
Okay. And then The Hills Have Eyes, 1977.
Let me see if I've seen that one. I've seen the newer one, but
okay. We have glitched the wheel with too many movies and another new emoji. Gotta love it. Love that little surprised alligator.
It's an alligator kind of.
I love it. Kevin, have you seen the 1977 one?
I had a little lag in my computer, so please bear with me, sir.
Hey, excuse me for yawning. We're having technical difficulties at the end of the show today. How fun.
No, I have not.
All right. Well, then that looks like it's about it. Anyone else have any movies you'd like to add to the wheel? I know Joey's probably typing away with some shorts to get added onto here. I'm kind of hoping that I get the Stalker short that's on here. I'm just going to say it.
Stalker short.
Yeah, there's a Stalker one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we have The Jerk. Nice. Oh, my gosh. I forget the comedian's name. The white-haired one. And Hoodlum. Steve Martin. There we go. All righty. We'll give it another 30 seconds. So go ahead and get those in now if you have anything else you'd like to add.
Ooh,
Kevin,
Psycho
what are you
2
hoping for?
would be. Oh, I was going to say Psycho 2 because.
Oh, okay.
2 Psycho.
You kind of cut out there.
Yeah, I know. I heard it's a really good sequel to Psycho, so I kind of want to see what everybody's talking about.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We got another 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. Let's go ahead and spin it first. Kevin, let's get your short.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get you something here. I'm going to pick you a short.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been watching a lot. So I actually did y'all a favor and didn't put on like the 30-something shorts that I watched this week in the review section. I usually don't talk about the shorts in the review section. But I'm going to have Kevin watch the short The Turnaround.
Okay.
Which is on Netflix. For your information, Kevin, it's the one that I just watched while we were getting ready for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So Kevin will be watching the short The Turnaround. And let's go ahead and shuffle it up. My short. And if you have a short that you know of, and you get it, and it says Kevin's pick for Garrett, you let me know.
Okay.
That is not a short, but the short one is the Doggone Tired, I believe. Let me go ahead and double check here. Hey, I could read it. Doggone Tired. There it is. Hey, man, I'll take whatever little boost I can get. All right. We'll delete that. Shuffle it all up. And Kevin, let's
movie
spin
time.
for your movie. And Kevin's movie is Black Friday 2021.
Let me see something.
I don't think you've watched this one.
I have watched it, but I think I came home from work and Nadi was watching it, so that's okay.
All right. So Kevin gets Black Friday 2021. Go ahead and get that added here so Kevin knows to watch it. And I'll remove it and shuffle up the wheel. And we'll get my movie. And what is it going to be? The Muppet Christmas Carol.
That's a random one.
Real out of left
February.
field pick here. Yeah. Is it? It's probably on Disney Plus. It is on Disney Plus. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen it a long time ago, but I definitely would love to watch it again. Cool. A real out of season pick there. But hey, you know what? We're getting through some of those old wheel picks, which is totally okay. But alrighty, so that is it for the wheel spin this week. Kevin has the short The Turnaround and has the film Black Friday from 2021. I have the short Doggone Tired, and I will be watching The Muppet Christmas Carol in February. But thank you everyone for holding on. I know it was a long show this week. Watched a lot of movies and we had a lot of news. So hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. And we'll be here same time, same place next week. And we'll be good to go. I don't know if I'm gonna. I still have to kind of decide this based on how much work I have to do, since I have a major paper due next week because it's the last week of my class next week. So don't know if I'll take a wheel spin movie for sure, but we'll figure that out when we get a little closer to. I do want to get some work done on it this weekend if possible.
Okay.
But alrighty, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend or week, day, whatever. Hope it's
Wherever
good.
you are. Yeah.
And until next time. Oh, actually, well, duh. We have Movie Club. That's a thing that exists. It comes out on Friday, and this Friday, super excited. We're talking about for the oldest movie that we have reviewed on Movie Club, which is Sherlock Jr. from 1924. It is 101 years old, with our good friend Buster Keaton in it. So make sure you check out that episode. It comes out on Friday. And of course, we go live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.